If you know your business should be doing better, but you can't figure out what's not working, I'm going to show you the 4 areas where the problem usually is and how to fix it so you can start growing again. After working with hundreds of businesses over the last 20 years, I've seen the same pattern again and again. Success and failure usually come down to just 4 things: traffic, conversion, delivery, and expansion. If even one of those things is weak, growth slows. If 2 or more are underperforming, your business is in serious trouble. Now, quick caveat before we get into this: everything I'm about to show you assumes your business is actually viable and that people want what you're selling. If that's true, then almost every problem comes back to these 4 areas. So let's start with traffic. Traffic is the lifeblood of your business. If you can't generate traffic consistently, the rest of your business almost doesn't matter. You can have a great offer, a great website, strong delivery, but if nobody's coming in, the whole thing stalls. And this is where people overcomplicate things. The tools change, the platforms change, the tactics change, but the principle hasn't changed in thousands of years. If you grow oranges and try and sell them outside your house, very few people are going to walk by and buy them. But if you take those oranges to a market where people are already shopping, your odds go way up. That's basically what traffic is. It's putting your offer in front of the right people in the places they already are. And the key word there is right, because quality matters more than quantity. If the wrong people are landing on your site, it doesn't matter how good your copy is or how good your page is. The conversions are going to be weak because you can't out-convert bad traffic. So if you want to know whether traffic is the problem, you need data, you need analytics. You need to know, am I getting traffic consistently? Where is it coming from? And is it actually qualified? If the answer is no, then you need a traffic strategy, not random activity. Pick 1 or 2 channels, test them seriously, measure what happens, and double down on the ones that bring in qualified traffic consistently. And the truth is, there isn't a universal perfect traffic source for everybody. It depends on your audience, your business model, your time, your skills, and your budget. Now, there are only 3 ways to get traffic. You can earn it, you can pay for it, or create it directly. Earned traffic is things like content, SEO, social media, PR, podcast appearances, or other people mentioning you. Paid traffic could be ads, sponsorships, and paid placements. And creating it directly is outreach, cold email, DMs, or emailing your own list. These are general buckets and some tactics can overlap. The other thing to understand is some traffic is more active and some is more passive or compounding. For example, SEO, long-form YouTube, directories, and even ads can keep driving steady traffic after the initial work is done, although ads only keep working as long as you keep paying. Things like email blasts or short-form social are usually more active. They can create a big spike in traffic, work for a shorter window, and then they fade. Both types can work. The point is to understand the difference and figure out what works best for your situation. Because traffic is not a one-time event. You constantly need new eyeballs coming into the business, so the channels you choose need to be the channels you can actually sustain. The good news is there are a lot of tools that can help you do this with less effort, whether that's automating social media, improving email marketing, or creating content more efficiently. I've got a bunch of tutorials on the channel around that if traffic is the part you're struggling with. Now, once you got traffic coming in, the next question is, are you actually converting it? So once you've looked at your traffic, if you realize you're getting qualified people to your offer but you're still not making sales, then there's a good chance you have a conversion problem. And the truth is that could mean a lot of different things. The problem could be your messaging, your positioning, your pricing, your offer, your page layout, your funnel, or some other trust element on your site. There are a lot of possible reasons. And unfortunately, there isn't some magic solution that instantly tells you what the issue is. If you can get direct feedback from your audience, that's the best case scenario because now you're not guessing what's not working. But if you can't, the only way to figure it out is to test your assumptions one by one. Try different messaging, pricing, offers, layouts. Basically, you have to treat it like a diagnostic and keep narrowing it down until you figure out what's actually not working. And one useful clue here is to look at your competitors. Not because you should copy them word for word, and in any case that won't work because what works for them won't automatically work for you. But it does give you a ballpark for what the market expects in terms of pricing, offer structure, positioning, and how people are framing the value. So if you're way off from what the market expects, that can be a signal. There are exceptions because maybe you really do have something unique, but it can at least tell you whether you're in the ballpark or not. Now, when it comes to conversion, where a lot of people are short-sighted is they think that conversion only means making the final sale, and that makes conversion harder than it needs to be. A smarter way to think about it is this: if someone is not ready to buy yet, what else can I get them to do that keeps them engaged and moves them one step closer? Maybe you offer a free guide or a coupon in exchange for their email address. Maybe you give them a chat option on the site site so they can talk to an AI assistant or you or someone on your team. They get to ask questions, work through objections, and in the process, they give you their contact info. Maybe you give them a way to book a call. Maybe your checkout is set up in 2 steps, so you collect their email address first, which means that even if they abandon the process, you can still follow up. These are all conversions too, because now they're not anonymous anymore. Now you have their contact information, which means that you now have more than one chance to follow up, answer objections, build trust, and move them closer to becoming a customer, instead of expecting your site to make the sale the very first time they land on it. And this is a fundamental change in perspective you need to have, because most people don't buy the first time they see your offer. They browse, compare, get distracted, leave and forget and come back later. That's normal. So if your only strategy is to hope they buy right away, you're making things much harder on yourself than they need to be. And to illustrate the point why this matters so much, if 1,000 people come to your site and you convert them at 1%, that's 10 sales. If you improve that to just 2%, that's 20 sales from the exact same traffic. That's 10 extra sales without generating a single extra visitor. So conversion is really about making the most of the traffic you're already working hard to get. And the good news is a lot of this conversion activity can be automated with the right systems. You can capture people before they leave, follow up with them automatically, and build systems that move them toward the sale even when they don't buy right away, which leads into the sponsor of this video, Omnisend. Most e-commerce stores are sitting on hundreds or even thousands of dollars in lost sales every month, and the frustrating part is they already did the hard work. They got the traffic, they got people interested, but they just never set up the 3 simple email automations that help catch those sales before they slip away. Email marketing can return $79 for every $1 spent, and while automated emails make up just 2% of those emails, they drive 37% of all email sales. And almost all of those sales come from just these 3 flows. Omnisend gives you ready-made templates for all 3, so instead of building everything from scratch, you can connect your store, sync your products and customer data, and get these workflows live without a bunch of technical work. Here's the welcome flow, which is perfect for welcoming new subscribers, delivering an offer, and moving them towards that first purchase while they're still warm. Next, we have the abandoned cart flow for people who added something to the cart and left. So this is where you recover sales that were already close to happening. And lastly, we have browse abandonment, which catches people even earlier when they looked at a product or page but left before taking the next step. So while you focus on running your store, these workflows are there in the background helping you catch sales you would have otherwise lost. Use the link below to get started with Omnisend for free. On the free plan, you can send up to 500 emails a month and you get access to all the automation features. And when you're ready to upgrade, use the code Solopreneur to get 30% off for your first 3 months. And if you're already using another email platform and want to move, Omnisend will handle the migration for you. They'll move your contacts, templates, and automations over, get you set up in about 5 days, and it's included on paid plans at no extra cost. They also have 24/7 support, so you can get the help right away if you need it. I have a step-by-step tutorial on the channel, and I'll link that video down below if you want to see the full walkthrough for setting up these automations. Now let's get back to the video. So the big takeaway here is conversion is a system. It's everything you do to help the right person take the next step and move closer to becoming a customer. And once people are converting and buying, the next question is, can your business actually deliver what you promised? So this is where a lot of businesses get exposed. Some people think that once the sale happens, the hard part is over. It's not. The sale is just the starting point because you still have to deliver the thing that they just bought. Now, delivery can mean different things depending on the business. It could mean shipping physical goods, giving access to digital products, or serving clients in a service business. But the core idea is the same. How do I give people what they paid for or the value they expect in the most efficient, scalable, and high quality way possible? That's really what delivery is. And this matters a lot more than people think because this is where trust is built or broken. If delivery is slow, confusing, inconsistent, or frustrating, that hurts everything. It hurts the customer experience, it hurts your margins, it creates refunds and cancellations, and it makes it much harder for people to stay with you or buy again later. So if you want to know whether delivery is the problem, you need to audit the process. Break it down step by step and look for the rough edges. Where are people getting stuck? Where are the delays? Where are things falling through the cracks? Where is the experience confusing or consistent? Where are people asking the same questions again and again? That's where you start. And you also need to think seriously about scalability. If you run a service business, you can only handle so many clients before you become the bottleneck. If you sell physical products, you can run out of inventory. And if you're scaling with a team, now you need SOPs, training, clear handoffs, quality control, and better systems so things don't fall apart as volume grows. Every business is different, but the principle is the same. Delivery needs to be dialed in. It needs to be efficient, repeatable, and as frictionless as possible. Because the better and faster you can serve customers, the more volume you can handle, the more profitable you can become, and the better the customer experience is. And this is where automation and AI really become useful. Once you've mapped the process, the first thing you need to understand is what parts of this actually need a human and what parts don't. The goal is not to necessarily automate 100% of the business, but to be intentional about where human time is really needed, because human time is expensive, limited, and usually the bottleneck. If part of the process has to stay manual, that's fine. Then improve the workflow so it happens faster and more reliably. But if part of the process is repetitive, structured, or predictable enough that software, automation, or AI can handle it, that's where you should seriously look at removing manual work. And this is also where customers start showing you how to improve the business. What questions keep coming up? Where are people confused? Why do they refund? Why do they cancel? All of that is useful information. If the same questions keep coming up, something is unclear. If people keep getting stuck in the same place, the process needs work. If people are disappointed, then the product or experience needs to improve, or the expectations need to be set better up front. So delivery is not just about fulfilling the promise, it's also about improving how you fulfill it over time. Because when delivery is strong, everything after gets easier. People trust you more, they get better results, they stay longer, and they're much more likely to buy again, which leads directly into the last area, expansion. One of the biggest mistakes people make is that they think the transaction is over after you deliver. It's not. That's actually where you deepen the relationship and often where your biggest opportunity for growth lies. Because if you've done a good job delivering, now you've earned trust. Now you've got a customer who knows you, has gotten value from what you do. While part of expansion definitely is increasing the value of each customer to your business over time, the way you really want to think about it more is understanding what they need next and helping them keep moving toward the result they want. Because people buy things to solve a problem or achieve a goal, and your goal is not just to get the first sale, it's to help them continue making progress. Sometimes your first offer solves the whole problem, but a lot of the time it only solves part of it. It gets them started, but there's still another step, and this is where your customers start telling you what they need next if you're paying attention. What are they still struggling with? What are they asking for after they buy? What would help them get the result faster or more easily? Why do some people buy again while others don't? That's the kind of stuff you want to understand, because expansion is not just about selling more, it's about helping the customer continue in a way that actually makes sense. And this is the part a lot of businesses neglect. They put a huge amount of effort into getting new customers and almost no effort into continuing the relationship with the ones they already have. So you need systems for that relationship. Not just generic follow-up, but systems that understand where the customer is, what they already bought, what they've already done, and what makes sense to communicate next. Because if they already bought product A, B, and C, you shouldn't still be pitching them A, B, and C again. You also need to think about your products and services more holistically. What's the next level of help, support, or investment that actually makes sense? Because if you only solve half the problem and you didn't help them with the other half, there's a very good chance they'll find someone else who does. And now that relationship and the future revenue goes with them. So a simple exercise is to look back at the last 12 to 24 months and ask, where are the customers that only bought once? What else could I be offering them right now? How could I re-engage them? Do I even have a communication strategy for existing customers? Have I segmented them well enough to send the right message to the right people? Because the whole point is this should not depend on random manual follow-up. You want systems that help you stay useful, relevant, and keep the relationship moving over time. Because when expansion is strong, you create more value from the customers you already have, and you don't have to rely as heavily on constantly finding brand new customers just to grow. If your business isn't growing the way it should, it usually comes back to one of these 4 areas: traffic, conversion, delivery, and expansion. The goal is not to get all 4 perfect once and be done. That's not how this works. These things are always changing, and your job is to keep paying attention, keep improving them, and make sure you're not neglecting any one of them for too long. So figure out which one is underperforming right now, improve that first, and then keep going. If you want more videos on the tools, systems, and strategies that'll help you streamline and grow your business, make sure you like this video and subscribe. In fact, check out this video right here for 5 tools that I use to streamline my own business. I'll see you in there.